We're glad to have you back. This is the Signature Morning on Signature TV, and this time around, we'll be, we have our guests in our studio. We'll be discussing on the topic surviving in hard times and managing family cohesion. Of course, you know that a lot has been happening around us this day and this period, and a lot of people are striving to survive. So we're going to talk more about that. And we have Mr. Okoye Jonathan Oracle, also known as Oracle. He's the ex-banker, lecturer, human capital development and entrepreneurship, and he's also a writer. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Okoye.
Thank you very much for having me here.
How are you doing this morning?
Thanks. Thank God.
You are smiling. It doesn't seem like you. The hardship is telling on you.
Well, that's the only priceless gift God has given us. To smile away. Life, a smile is very infectious and it could heal psychological wounds. So smile is very important. You can't even shop it better from ShopRite. Because you need always to wear smiles on your face.
So this period is been heated. It's been a heated one for everyone in the country.
Right.
A lot of people are just facing different hard times, trying to survive. You see the price of fuel, you see the increase in cost of things in the market and all of that. So my question is, how are you surviving these hard times?
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Before we delve into the topic, there's need for us to really understand the true meaning of hard times from a holistic perspective.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
And I want to believe that the framers of the topic did not limit it only to economic condition.
Okay.
It's all embracing. It's all encompassing.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so, looking at it from a generic point of view, generic sense, you see hardship as a condition of difficulty, challenges. Is it clear? Orchestrated by condition unbearable, and sometimes leading to frustration. Is it clear? And which presence now makes people bend people backwards, struggling to form a resilience and strong determination to overcome them in order to survive. Is it clear? And all these things are orchestrated by certain elements, certain factors, characterized by hard economic conditions, characterized by insecurity and conflicts, characterized by environmental challenges and health challenges too. Is it clear? All these have their own cumulative multiplier effect that tend to trigger off stressor stimuli that make people look funny. So that's the situation. If you are looking at it from Nigerian perspective, in the context of Nigeria, it's a different ball game. Nigeria has been characterized, has been described in a pejorative sense as the poverty capital of the world.
Of the world.
And so, Nigerians have also been perceived as having a large heart for margin of tolerance, highly elastic in absorbing and having a appropriate capacity to manage it. So I will be surprised. The question asking me, how do I, as an individual, cope? They say, if you don't beat them, you join them. We're not joining, but people have their own different peculiarities, modus operandis, and the ways of adjusting in order to really coexist in society, where there are clear demarcations, clear line between the rich and the poor, the bourgeois and the talakawas in society. So what do you do? So it is where this topic is considered very, very apt. And I think you are going to deal decisively, give it justice.
Yeah. So personally, how do you survive? How are you surviving your family?
Fine. I'm surviving because I've been unwittingly, I've now been compelled to start thinking inwards. Now, I've now cut my growth according to my clothes and no longer my size. Is it clear? I've been able to redefine my tastes, my consumption propensities. Is it clear? I've also been able to really adjust and begin to embrace alternatives as close substitutes. These days, you cannot see people going to buy semovita. Some go and buy apple. can go and buy aliba, all this. All this is I see within the classification of carbohydrates. It doesn't cost me anything. And also this issue of in between meals, it is no longer the issue now. You now have to really stagger and define based on our own economic pulse. Is it clear?
Do you still eat 3 square meals this period?
A
lot of people say you don't even eat 3 square meals. Some eat 001, some eat 01, 101, and all of that.
Is it?
What is it like for you?
I try to balance my diet reasonably. I'm not trying to really expand my taste and sophistication again. That's the issue. I remember my son even told me in university that, Father, condition is critical. One is finished. You see? And they now still adopt 010 or 001. To look, my friend, we are giving unpredicted invitation to health challenges. As much as possible, I try to eat reasonably. That situation. So for me, in summary, I try to live within my own means and not to subject myself to extreme starvation because of a poverty situation in Nigeria.
You talked about resilience.
Yes.
So I want you to expand more. What role does resilience, play in helping families to cope this hard time?
Fine. Resilience is a psychological weapon that makes you to really have the capacity to absorb, to have a Spartan spirit that is not going to be, it's not the end. Somewhere, sometime, there's a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. So don't be totally hopeless because of the orchestrations of the socio-economic quagmire in Nigeria. That should be raised that what has a beginning, at the end of the day, it will eventually have an end. That's the strength of character, the power to be able to forge ahead, instead of caving and giving up.
That right now, families are having this cohesion.
Yes.
Do you understand? They are finding it hard to survive.
Right.
You see families, husband, wife, having this cohesive problems between them because of the economic situation. A lot of people are trying to survive, and at the same time, they're trying to up their game. So making families to face different problems. But right now, how do you think families should balance everything, to make sure they survive and still retain peace in their family?
Beautiful question. To tackle that, we look at cohesion in its own entirety. Managing family cohesion is not easy. Is it clear? It's not easy. And the cohesion family cohesion has to do the psychological, emotional, and the social bond and bind people, members, family together in order to promote unity, peace, as you said. And they also made them have that sense of belonging. That is it. So in managing family cohesion, there is a need for us to have the capacity for communication. You have to define boundaries in order to retain respect for one another. So many things could trigger off a lot of frustrations, especially where the father has lost his unique role in the family, orchestrated by poor economic situation. So how would a hungry man is what? An angry man. And how do you expect him or deserve respect from him again? We have not been able to really, we have now unbundled, have not disintegrated that cohesive force that brings linkages, fondness, and the love for one another. So what you have to do is, as much as possible, try to tell them that united we shall all continue to stand as a family. That is where you begin to really elicit respect, create a sense of responsibility, create a feeling of partnership. So all of us are working together towards a common agenda in a family, which is the peace.
Well, you believe me that it's not easy to just say.
So
when you keep saying, as a man in your family, you keep saying, let's work together and all of that, but there's little or no, or there's a shortage in what you provide. It still seems not strong. Words are no longer strong nowadays. So in that situation, what do you think the head of the family should do, or the breadwinner, whether be it the husband or the wife?
Fine. You need the engagement. You need the engagement, cohesive engagement of every family. If there are gaps, shortage in supply of foodstuff or whatever, our utilities. For instance, now, you should be able to tell them to really begin to explore the innate creative potentials in them, to be able to also make contributions as members of the family. For instance, now, is it pumpkin or ugu? It's no longer sold for 100 naira. It's not 3 or 100, just a little bunch like that. So as a family, I'm trying to bring them together. All you need to do is to encourage the children to go and embark on this backyard gardening, farming. Is it clear? So that all of us have a reason to feel a sense of contribution towards achieving a beautiful delicacy of soup in family. And you as a man should also try to prioritize your own needs. Try to see the family as your first priority, first responsibility. So, but if you don't do that and subject them to the state of abandonment, the tendency is that that respect will not be there. And they will all begin to incline in respecting their mother or their other sister because you have woefully failed in your primary duty of care.
You mentioned your son in university.
Who abandoned me about 001 010?
So I was coming to ask you. So how do you help your children generally to survive this hard time? How do you encourage them? How do they cope? Try to cope and survive these hard times.
Beautiful. Is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm particularly lucky. My son is involved in a very creative, because it's not a question of churning out students as a mere conventional certificate carrying graduates, paper tiger, so to speak. At the end of the day, there's nothing to offer. After all, Nigerian government have told you in unprintable terms that they can no longer offer employment. So that's why they introduced the entrepreneurial development. So my son has been able to learn one skill or the other. He now builds what they call, is it palm or whatever.
Okay.
So he places online. If they place online requests, they will bid. It doesn't affect his studies. So gladdened by that sense of initiative and independence, I had to give him money, about 50,000 naira, to encourage him. And now he has finished. He has now graduated. And now he's now going to expand his vision. That is creative thought, that talent will now begin to unlock that innate hidden potentials in them. It will now blow fast. So that's the thing. But now, instead of going to Yahoo, or going to what do you call it, this Man U Chelsea club.
Betting.
No. He now sees something that keeps him busy. Is it clear? It's because he has been able to find out from the family he grew from. He has not seen the sense of direction his father has given. He has not seen that discipline. It's not a question of abandonment of responsibility, application of no, that's not the issue. So that's why I'm particularly happy about that. The next time now he goes to Port Harcourt or whatever for youth service, I'm sure when he gets to NYC camp, he now begins to market and package his product very well. Thereby becoming that penchant for survival is already in him, because that instinct is already inbuilt.
So you're saying that every family, should try to, inculcate that sense of creativity in their children. Let them begin to do something instead of, falling out to become touts out there or joining gangs and all of that.
Let me even shock you with apology. Do you know that university education or education is not meant for everybody?
Why so?
Yes, there are people who are naturally endowed with potentials, but they are yet unlocked. You need a lot of encouragement. Is it clear? Encouragement. So you need to promote that. You need to tell them, do this, do that, in order to survive, in order to be self-independent, in order to erase from their negative mindset this issue of entitlement mentality. That is what part of the problem. By the time that thing looking at it, he didn't find it, it becomes a problem, begins to throw it back on you. And what did you do? How were you able to lay the foundation? Through impartation, through mentorship, through encouragement. You did not do that. It's not enough to pay your student school fees and find them and graduate and come. They have graduated, they have made 2-1, half one, but they are hollow upstairs because they only rely on certificate as a meal ticket. But then said they have nothing to offer. The content is much important than the container.
Okay.
Are you not saying?
So what role does family play, you know, making sure they bring out that content out of them?
Fine. You try to make sure that's where bonding comes in. That's where discipline, that's where the constitution of family comes in there. Now, instead of going to watch television, so I'm going to play Nigeria bet, so instead of having this loose neighborhood relationship, why don't you engage him in doing something at home? Engage him, do that. Why don't you take him to the backyard? We have to go garden, or even your poultry. Why don't you take him there? To take over, to step into the shoes you must have left behind. It's not a question of when you retire, you go back to the village, go there, complete your building, one day call it, I don't tire. How have you been able to do that? Have you forgotten as a man that when you retire from active service, you are going to marry 5 wives, which I reduced in my theory of a theory 5WX.
Okay, what does that mean?
5WX. The first W is, what do I do after my active service? That's the first wife I'm going to marry. What do I do? Why should I do it? You must do it to remain socially and economically relevant. Gone are days, those perks of office, paraphernalia would have lost it. And nobody gives you brand envelope called TYS. Thank you, sir. Nobody. Why should I do it? Who should do it? The next wife is, when do I do it? You do it while in service. Is it clear? So you telling me that you cannot serve two masters at a time. It is when you're in service that begin to think of plan B. Is it clear? Now back to relating to your own question now. Who does it? That wife, fourth wife, who does it? It is your wife, it is your children. By the time you come out, then you will have been able to have a critical evaluation through your constant, persistent oversight function, what they are doing or not. You cannot take over. Is it clear? Then finally, the last wife you are going to marry is, when do I do it? When service, and where do I do it? It is not when they finish, they begin to go to the backyard, start looking at where to start building a poultry. The landlord will tell you that he doesn't want to hear smell of all this. I remember when we were in the banking sector, one of us, we were living a bogus life, cosmetic life. The one of us who saw tomorrow, like Nostradamus, he started business in the village. I declare this renter. He goes, he knows that people die a lot. I'm not praying for people have wedding. He went and established and hired them, renting of chairs. By the time he retired from service, he went to the village and started. By the time he has his own business. And now remember, when you get out of service, you also face the challenges of how to move. You already beclouded with fears and phobia. What do I do? We now begin to talk of issue of analyzing yourself. Critical self-evaluation and examination using SWOT analysis. Where do I now have my strength?
Weakness. Yeah.
Where do I have strength to continue and cope with all these things? Do I have the capacity? Do I have the financial capacity? Where is my weakness? My weakness is that I have phobia. I have the aversion for risk. I now begin to think of taking calculated risk or not. Where do I have opportunity? Opportunity eroded you because while you're serving, you did not see tomorrow. You didn't see the opportunity, unlike a colleague that saw his opportunity and took advantage of that. And what is your own threat? Your threat is that you are afraid of the village life. So these are part of all this.
You made mention of S when you were talking about the 5 wives. Yes. You made mention of S.
I bet theory 5WX. 5W is 5. The H is the husband. You are the person.
Oh, okay.
5W plus H.
Okay.
You are the husband. You must. There's no way. You must face the unfolding realities that it stares on the face. So encouraging yourself for survival, you need to be able to be better thinking was. Then begin to expand their vision through constructive engagement, through collaboration, through partnership, through education, so that you'll be able to learn more, build their skills, gather new knowledge, gather new set of information. These things will enable you to learn, to be forward-looking.
Apart from civil servants, to an average Nigerian,
Right.
who hasn't even gone to school, an illiterate out there who is just surviving on this mama put, buying and selling to survive on a daily basis, what advice would you give them? What strategy do you think they have to imbibe to survive these hard times?
Beautiful. Remember, I told you, my grandmother, who has lost her dentition over the years, used to tell us that passing seas is not passing sense.
Okay.
So it's not the it's not the certificate that places food on the table. Now, what you have to do is that teamwork, team spirit in the family is important. I know a woman who staggers activities. In the morning, he sells akamu, and in the evening, he fries plantain. Mama put. The children, when they come, they will all retire and help their mother at Chim Avenue in the evening. They don't have a permanent place, but in the evening, that place has now become very classic and is known to everybody. And he used that to train to them in the university. So it's not a question of having high shoulders. You should be able to submit and subject yourself to humility. This thing starts from the family foundation. Is it clear? Where it comes from? But if you want to give your child the impression that you can do it all alone, then of course you only have to try the much you can, and the blames, they will pour it on you because you don't carry them along. A captain in a team does not mean that he plays better than others. But the ability to mobilize, motivate, the courage to correct people, impart, the vision, to the ability also to set the pathways, the bearing and the roadmap towards actualizing the vision. If you are blind, you are not futuristic, how can your children learn? You don't put in a cluster in the parlor and start watching television. At the end of the day, they fall back on you. Have you been able to tell them that an idle man,
is the devil's workshop?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to ask because the government, usually give out some palliatives to citizens. I wanted to know, as a civil servant, have you ever gotten any palliative, any of this hunger palliative to survive?
I have not gotten hunger palliative because I did not incline my mind towards that.
Okay,
that will be a negative mindset, and if you don't get it, hopefully that they are sharing it. All your hopes are now anchored and built on that. The moment you don't get it, you have created more problems. You have double your problem. The best thing is to think of what can I offer. Do I have this? Look at the needs analysis in society. Look at the gaps. Can I fill certain gaps by providing one service or one product? Is it clear? These are, but don't hope government to give you cosmetic promises. That will never come to be. All you have to do is start living in a state of hopelessness. So I've not received anyone. I don't want to rebuild my mind towards that because it will create a lot of problem for me.
Okay. How do you do what do you do about budgeting? Because people say, before I was taught that going to the market, you go with lists of things, you're going to buy this for this amount and all of that. Is that still so for you now? The list you have when you go to the market, is it the same?
You see, there's not budget is just a mere supposition. It's not a reality. And when there's nothing like a natural price in the marketplace. Price is a function, interplay of the forces of demand and supply. Is it clear? So this thing has created a lot of problems in families, budgeting between wives and the husbands. Because what you budget today, because of the changing prices in market, commodity prices, is it clear? So what you budget now to go and buy, by the time tomorrow the price changes. Having situation where husbands and wives are even quarrel and say, look, my friend, you have to follow me to the market and see what I'm selling. So what you now do is, in our common economic logic, that's what we call scale of preference. They have changed it now to what we call scale of relative valuation. Is it clear? Scale of relative valuation. Even when you have all this, you have to want to buy this, want to buy that, in order of preference. But when you get there, you have to really distinguish between economic need and desire. That will enable you alter the setting in your budget. What this thing I've put here, is it within my budget line, budget definition? Is it a luxury? So that's not like budgeting is just, you have to really cut your coat according to your cloth. And not budget, because there's no finality to budgeting now in Nigeria. Because a lot of supervening circumstances will come and alter the budget lines.
You talked about the wants, right, and
Needs.
the economic needs.
Economic
So can you expatiate on
Fine.
what?
Economic. I mentioned here about needs analysis. Needs analysis. What and what do we need in the family? Is it clear? When you come now, your husband, your wife, your children from school, they say, Daddy, our DSTV has finished. Is it clear? He doesn't know. He wants to create extra Panadol in your head. Is it economic need? Is it a desire? Is it want? So you need to think of, how do I prioritize my needs according to the pressure exert on my economic pulse, based on my needs analysis. Is it the painter of Gary? That's more important to me now than the TV, the Go TV, to satisfy their persuasions and passion, narrow selfish passions and persuasion. That's what I'm thinking of. You don't look at that. Select those ones that really have economic pressure and the needs.
Okay. You made mention that government really, you shouldn't base on what government can give you. But I still believe that a lot of people out there still believe that government have roles they have to play, in helping people to come out from this or survive these hard times. Don't you see other things, other roles government can play in making sure that this hardship and this poverty is being curbed to some extent?
Fine. The role basically government play, part of their social justice, social responsibility, is to create a network of roads, facilities that will make life livable. Is it clear? If, for instance, the roads to the farmland is not motorable, to go and harvest things to wait the market from Calagos or so. Now, how can people there enjoy the plentiful thing in the village? They cannot, because there's no way you can ferry them across here. And the little one at Obwete, now they have a lot of pressure on the little one, and the prices will also increase. So I think basically what government will do is to provide the social facilities that will enable life, that will make life worth living. So because it's not their money, it is taxpayers' money. But they're not interested in doing. They only try to give you promises as is part of democracy, dividends are going to enjoy. At the end of the day, you will not see the dividend. Or they'll just come and flash the roads and get away and share the money. Ghana must go. And they wait for your vote next 4 years. So what do you think? People have lost hope in government. And that's why everybody is struggling to be in power, so that they can now steal as much as possible, to the detriment of the majority of people they consider as the underdogs in society. So people have lost hope. Look at the fuel prices.
I was coming to ask you, how are you coping with the prices of fuel right now?
Let me tell you, look, my sister, let me tell you, 2 days from MNA to Zuxavian and going by, I spent 8,500 fuel. And I regretted that. I could have taken bus. It would have been a lot cheaper. Is it clear? Coming to this place now, I've now got about 10,000 fuel. In order to cope with the time. So All this have negative consequence multiplier effects on commodity, on the rent. House, the landlord has increased the rent by 150,000, 200,000.
Wow.
I have told you that if you don't like, back out. If you are fed up with him, you fed out. That was his own language. So all these things are multiplier effects that has a spillover. Every activity is connected to what?
Transportation.
So it's not a question of coping. So what you have to do now to bury and sacrifice, crucify other desires, other ones, in order to attend to these ones that are very important. Like coming to this place, very important. I cannot trek from that place to this place. So I need to really, whether I like it or not, I need to do that.
All right. So I wanted to let you go because of time, but I'm still really inspired by how your stories and how you survive, and of course the ones you told about your son. Yeah. What other advice would you give all the families out there, to survive? Because I know that they usually say that all fingers are not equal.
Yeah.
Yes. Families differ from families. So what advice do you think maybe low-class families should imbibe in order to survive? This is Yuletide season. This is a season of celebration. Well, I don't think a lot of families are all excited about Christmas, about buying stuff because of the high cost of things. What advice would you give to them?
Beautiful. You see, like red, but all fingers are not equal. And you need to tell the children the fatal reality, the truth. Now, we are not going home for Christmas because you cannot buy a bag of rice for 100 and something thousand. But that's what they call communalization strategy. You need to combine with this family, so that they can now contribute and buy. And again, last time, remember, we hired vehicle. We use our own vehicle to go. No, look, this time you are going to contribute money so that these 2 or 3 families you hire bus together and cut down on all this. That's the communalization strategy. Is it clear? So you should tell them, look, we are not going to cook rice again. Rather, we'll cook yam. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't say that this is rice is a Sunday medicine. We must cook it. Look, yesterday I only ate on Sunday. I only ate yam, not rice. Unlike in those days, and I enjoyed it with ofaku. Tinkum ideology. Tinkum. Tell them that this is, look, these are the natural recipes, natural food. Don't go on all these cosmetic things. The moment you let them know that we must live to the fatal reality of the time, the better. And they begin to know that of the truth. My father said on the truth. It's not when you go and buy gold in your hand and you tell them there's no food in the house and you're wearing trinket and you're wearing that. How would they believe you? How would a child believe you? And you're putting on this umbrella, what do you call it, and you tell them there's no food in the house. What is the truth? How can you reconcile that to the child that is hungry?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Okoye Jonathan. I think you have actually shed more light to this topic. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
The Oracle. He's an ex-banker, lecturer, human capital developer, and of course, that's on entrepreneurship. And he also is a writer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Just like I said, having worked, you can see, I know your time is up. You can see this book. Look at it, The Whipping Banker. It's a scenario that captures what you are saying. Look at the banker having money, here it is whipping. That gives you the graphic illustration that the Nigerian economy is very bad.
Thank you very much for that. All right, we're going to a short break and we'll come back. We'll bring you order discussions. You do go anywhere.